Okay, guys. So I got, let me just give you more light. Never mind. Okay, so I got um, inverse secant is equal to -5, which is the same thing as saying arcsecant. Inverse secant, arcsecant. And according to Wolfram alpha, it should be 1.77 radians or 101.5 degrees, 101 and a half degrees. So I'm going to try to find it in radians mode. And if you look over here, I keep on getting the wrong answer every single time. What am I doing? What am I doing? This is what people keep getting confused on. So you go over here and you're like, okay, it should be 1.77 radians. And I'm going to check my mode. And it looks like I'm on radians right here. So I'm going to quit that. And I'm going to say, okay, it looks like I got 1 over inverse cosine because, you know, secant is 1 over cosine. So I put 1 over cosine inverse, which would give me inverse secant, all these different kind of things. The inverse of -5 is -1/5. So I keep on trying to find what is there you go, 1.77 radians. We have it in radians mode. So the proper way to type it in is to actually do inverse cosine -1/5. Ta-da! All under 2 minutes. And the reason why is because we have inverse cosine -1/5, inverse secant, and -5. But if we do inverse cosine, because we have to do an inverse to get the bounds, to get the range, whatever you want to call it, of secant, which is 1 over cosine. So you have to do an inverse. -5, if I were to put in the negative cosine of -5, I'd get a different number because the inverse cosine is not the same thing as secant. So the only way I can do it is doing the inverse cosine of the inverse of -5. And here's -5, here's the inverse of -5. So the inverse of -5 is -1/5. And -1/5, or the cosine of -1/5, is the inverse of secant. See what I'm saying? So instead of doing 1 over cosine on your calculator, you can just do this and do the inverse of this. Instead of doing the inverse of this, which is 1 over cosine, you do the inverse of this. And hopefully you have figured this out at like 2 minutes ago when I explained it. So just hopefully like the video, comment, share, and this is the easiest explanation. That's why I gave you the answer right away, is because you probably didn't even need the rest of the 2 minutes of me explaining this. So hopefully it helps somebody out there. So good luck. And yeah, hope you got a good grade, whatever.